Loitering. You probably haven't heard that word for a while. It used to be used a little bit more often than what we hear it now. You know what it means? It actually means someone just kind of hanging around with no particular purpose. You know, governments and police know that loitering can be a problem. They actually prohibit loitering in high crime areas. And you know the reason why? It's because loitering is often a precursor to a crime actually happening. So they don't want people hanging around with no purpose. They want people to be scattered and to be doing things that they need to be doing and not just hanging around. You know, loitering's a bit like what you'd see in a first-person shooter. Some of you probably don't even know what a first-person shooter is, and some of you are probably trying to play one while this video is running. But the reality is that in a first-person shooter game, what you've got is you just see a gun, and in the video game, you're running around trying to shoot people. One of the coolest things that you can do if you really experienced the first-person shooters is to get someone to come and join a multiplayer game who's not really ever played it before. So much fun. The reason why it's so much fun is because they haven't got a clue what they're doing. They don't know how to use the controls. And you know what they end up doing a whole bunch of the game? Loitering. They don't know what they're doing. They're just kind of walking around. Everyone else is kind of going, we've got the best hideouts, the most secure hideouts, the safest hideouts. What's that idiot doing? Down in the middle, he's just standing there. He hasn't got a clue what he's doing. Boom, he gets taken out with a headshot. That's the end of his turn. See, the problem with loitering is that loitering doesn't recognise that there's something bigger going on, there's something bigger in play. You know, in the first-person shooter, the person loitering out in the middle in no man's land isn't acting in a way that recognises that there's a war, there's a battle going on. It may just be because they're inept, but they're just not acting that way. And you know, there's a classic kind of scene sketched out in Proverbs chapter 7, where there's a young man and he's just walking the streets at night. I mean, one commentator says he's feather-brained, and he's out there on the streets at night and he walks past a woman's house who's called an adulteress in Proverbs. And she's dangerous for his purity, she's dangerous for his humanity, but he's just loitering. He's just walking, and she comes out and the hooks end up in him and he ends up doing something that destroys him. He ends up doing something that destroys a part of his humanity. And the recommendation, the wisdom from Proverbs is guard your heart. Don't be taken astray by this woman. Don't be taken astray by things that would just capture you and pull you in. And some of you might go, well, when does that happen? When do you have a house where if you walk near it at night, a woman wants to get you into bed? Well, I tell you, a place where that happens is the internet, right? I mean, have you ever loitered on the internet? Have you ever been scrolling through a website and you've just seen all the stuff on the sidebar and you didn't go there to see the stuff on the sidebar, but all of a sudden you're just kind of hanging around, just near it. Maybe it's late at night and you're scanning through the TV channels. Maybe you find something that's interesting. Maybe something at a different time on a different day you wouldn't stop. You'd flick on really quick, but you do stop, you do pause, and you end up watching something that starts to attack your humanity, something that starts to be caustic toward you as a person. See, it makes sense that the writer of Proverbs says, guard your heart, don't loiter, follow after God, follow after wisdom, and guard yourself against things that would destroy you.